What's up, everybody? It's your girl, the Sunflower Child, and you are now tuning to Talks with Sean. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Yes, I am so sorry that this video is late, honey, with this virus going on. You know, we had to make sure that everything was all set at the house, make sure everything was prepared, because this is crazy. So I hope that everybody is safe. I hope that everybody has toilet tissue, food, all of that good stuff, Clorox, wipes, Lysol, spray, gloves, masks, whatever you need to feel comfortable. I'm praying for you, and we're in this together. Coronavirus, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Boom, boom, boom. So let's get into the video. So as you can see, the video is titled Story Time, Still in Love, ? And I think it's very important for me to share my story because I feel like a lot of us go through similar situations and are afraid to talk about it, or feel like our friend group is going to judge us for the person that we dated, or our parents will judge us because they may not be to their liking. And so I really wanted to share the story. It's been really heavy on my mind. I've been going back and forth, fighting myself if I want to share this or do I keep it to myself. And I also feel like it's very therapeutic for me to express and talk about it, and get my freedom. I feel like sometimes when you hold on to certain things, it kind of weighs you down, and I feel like we just want to be like, you know. So here we go. Please be gentle with me, bear with me. This is gonna be a story time, and also a lesson within itself for you and me. So let's go. So, oh God, when was this? Was it the summer? No, it was before. Woo! Oh my God, almost a year. Oh! Okay, so, I met somebody last year, during the springtime. It don't even matter what date, what month, yeah, don't matter. I met somebody during the springtime, and I really wasn't checking for him. That sounds horrible. I really wasn't, though. I wasn't checking for him. I wasn't looking for him or anything. He kind of just appeared in my face. And so he was introduced to me by mutual friends that we had all met, right, and formed a group or whatever. So he was new to the group, and he was always just starting mess. Like, not, he just had a lot going on in his life. Like, every time, how do I say this? Like, it was just a lot. He was always doing a lot, okay? And I gave him a nickname because I was just like, dude, you're doing a lot right now, and you're just all over the place. So that's how we kind of formed a friendship, because I gave him a nickname. And after that, he started coming around me a lot more and around my circle of friends, and I really wasn't checking for him. Like, we never flirted, none of that. Like, it was just like, oh, you the homie that I like, on some real genuine friend, like, what's up? And I think this went on for like a month or two. Like, it was like a month or two. Like, this man sat back and relaxed for a good hot second before he went in for the kill. And I think that's what drew me to him even more, because he wasn't on my body. Like, he saw how many people were trying to get at me and the reaction I was giving them. Like, it would just be like off their back or whatever. And I feel like that was a part of his game. Now that I'm thinking about it and we've had conversations, it definitely was a part of his game, and it definitely worked to his advantage. Because he just sat back and just watched me, like, do what I did. You know what I'm saying? Just like, nah, I'm good, or like, you know, entertain somebody and get their number and just be like, whatever, da da da. And so I honestly thought he was chatting with somebody else or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, he's just gonna be the homie. And then we kept hanging around each other or whatever. And then after that, like, I don't know, it was like one day, like, my eyes was like, and I looked and I'm like, hold on, dang, like, shorty kind of fine. Like, he's very attractive. And I was just like, dang, like, you know, he's good looking. So I started flirting with him. So I kind of pretty much made the move. I don't really care. I made the first move. In a sense, right? And he and I began to flirt. Still wasn't thinking anything of it, because at the same time, he was definitely the type of guy that I went for back. He was the type of guy that he was the type of guy that I was attracted to and I was trying to get away from. For the simple fact of just like, I wanted to try something new. Every time I dated those type of guys, you know, it just kind of didn't work out, or it was just a lot of mess, or, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I wasn't really thinking anything of it. Like, we just gonna flirt, and I'm just gonna waste your time, and you gonna waste my time, and that's that. But little did we know, we was gonna fall in love. So, so anyway, so we started talking or whatever. We started having conversations privately of us just getting to know each other on some real, genuine, like, friend. And of course, it was a lot of flirting in the beginning, like a lot of like cat and mouse, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, chase me, da da da, like whatever, like things that you do when you like someone or somebody has the attention. And we did that for a while. And then none of our friends knew we were talking. To this day, nobody knows. How do I say this? Like, nobody knew that we were in a relationship. Like, eventually we were together, so nobody knew that we was in a relationship. We just wanted to keep it private. We wanted to enjoy each other, and we didn't want people in our business. Period. And I also didn't want to be judged. And I also kind of just didn't want to have other people's opinions in my head about him or the lifestyle that he chose to live or things like that. So, we definitely come from two different backgrounds, two different lifestyles. And, you know, I don't believe in judging people off of who they are or their lifestyle or things like that. But I believe in judging them off their spirit and how they treat you. And when we started talking, then dating, or just me and him and all this other stuff, I felt a feeling that I've never felt before. A feeling of protection, a feeling of being free, in a sense. And I didn't tell any of my friends that I was dealing with this person because I didn't want to be judged. You know what I mean? Like, obviously your friends have your best interests, your family, all that, things like that. And I got to know him on a deeper level than just who everybody else saw him to be. I didn't care how much money he had, the type of car or anything. They did not matter to me. What mattered was his spirit and his heart, and that's what attracted me to him. How sweet and kind and respectful he was to me, and how patient he was. And like, dang, like, this man knew exactly when to shut me up and be like, you're doing too much, hush, I'm putting you in your place. Sometimes you kind of need that. Like, in general, as a friend in a relationship, you need somebody that's gonna tell you, like, honey, you're doing a lot, sit down. And that's what he was. He really was my best friend. He really was. I always tell my best friends that I want somebody that knows me like you guys know me. And he really began to know me in a deeper way. And we spent a lot of time together, a lot of phone calls, a lot of nights falling asleep on each other. And we never had sex. We never did anything sexually at all. And thank you, Jesus, we didn't, because the way, honey, I don't know, honey, I'll probably be in an emergency right now, because I'll probably be so child, I would probably be literally just, I don't even know. You know how they say, like, you could be, like, hypnotized, you know what I'm saying, but hypnotized? I would have probably been that. I probably would have been, like, doing some real crazy things. You know what I mean? Like, some things that I've probably been like, you wasn't in your right mind, because being in love and then getting sausage, you know what I mean? It could be a little cloudy. You know what I'm saying? So thank God that never happened. And he respected that. He never took it farther. He never tried to talk about sex or anything. He knew what it was, and period. And that was that. We really had a genuine connection. It was like being in a relationship when you're younger, where you really like somebody, and you don't even, obviously when you're younger, you don't, well, nowadays, I mean, these kids is thinking about sex at 12, but even younger than that. But think about when you were younger and you really liked somebody and you just wanted to be around them, and sex wasn't in the picture, or anything, was just like you just died to be around that person. Like, you really rocked with them heavy, hard. And that's what it was with us. Like, I really rocked with him on so many levels. He was my best friend, my homie, my not my brother, ew, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was everything in one. And this man really had a lot of potential, and still has a lot of potential to be an amazing person. We talked about our futures together. We talked about just everything, but never once. It's crazy, because when you want something so bad as far as love, sometimes it's always on your mind. So when you meet somebody, it's like, oh, is he the one, or is she the one, or da-da-da. But with him, I never thought about he's my husband, or I'm gonna marry him. And it's not that I didn't think that he would be in my future, but it was just the fact that I was so stuck in the moment of us that wasn't even on my mind heavy, right? And we really just enjoyed each other. We went through a lot of stuff, and he was so patient with me. And I told him that the lifestyle he was living, I didn't agree with, and I wasn't going to deal with that no longer. So if you wanted to deal with that lifestyle, then that means losing me. And I kind of like pressured him a little bit, but at the same time, I thought I was trying to be supportive of him, like getting out of a lifestyle and changing everything around and things like that. Just trying to be supportive or whatever. And I'm trying to like make the story short or whatever, but he started making changes like randomly, like just randomly making changes, like going back to school and like getting a good job and like setting goals, and like it made me really happy to see him like working and just doing things that he said he was gonna do, but a part of me didn't really believe that he was gonna do it. You know, when you live a certain lifestyle, it's just like you get used to that lifestyle. So it was very shocked when he was making moves on his own, because I was yapping about it all the time and he wasn't doing anything. So for him to do it on his own made me feel good. Not only that, but he was getting closer to God. He was going to church. He was expressing himself to me in ways that he usually does not do. He's not an emotional person. He is not a I love you, baby, I'm gonna be in your face type of person. Like, he's definitely not that. Just definitely not emotional. I mean, everybody has emotions. Don't get me wrong. I've seen him cry. I've seen all the emotions of happy, sad, mad, and vice versa. Yeah, he's just not. He's not emotional. Emotionally, I wanted more. Like I was very much more of the lovey-dovey to him. And I'm not an affectionate person, but when I find somebody that I'm very much attached to, I get affectionate. And he just showed me. He showed me what being in love looked like. I've never been in love before, and he was the first person that I've ever been in love with. And I think that's why it was harder, or still hard to deal with it, because when you have a connection with somebody where you're in the shower and you're thinking about that person, and automatically that person calls, or you're thinking about that person and that person randomly texts you, or you're texting that person and that person's like, man, I was just about to call you, or things like that. It's just a connection that I can't really explain. It's an unexplainable situation. And I didn't think that I would fall for somebody like him, because I wasn't trying to deal with somebody in that category of men, I guess, or whatever. And I became very overprotective of him. I became very much, like, I began to just get really worried about him, and I was always thinking about him. There's not a day that goes by that I still don't think about him or didn't think about him. And I realized that he very much cared for me. He never disrespected me, never called me out my name, never nothing. Like, just a very respectful guy. Very chill, very laid back, very just like in the back type of, like, I'm in the background type of guy. And he let me have all the shine. He let me he let me be the star. we talked about so many things. We talked about dreams. We talked about this. We talked about my podcast and how important it was for me to start. And he was very much a huge supporter in my career, in following my dreams. And he always wanted me to focus. He always wanted me to be the best of me. And he would tell me, like, I feel like I'm distracting you. I feel like the things that I'm going through affects you, and because it affects you, you can't think clearly. And he was true. It was definitely right, because I fell and I loved him very, very, very much. And so I was concerned more so about him. And what I realized in that relationship is that I don't want to say I was losing myself, because I didn't lose myself. But what I will say is I was definitely making sure he was okay before I made sure I was okay. And I think it's very important in a relationship that you always make sure that you're good mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, that you're good, because you only got one life to live. You only have one body. You only have one system working. So you need to make sure that you're good. In order, before you make sure somebody else is good, you gotta make sure that you're good. And I seen that in him. He showed me how to make sure that I was personally good within myself before I dealt with him. And we shared a lot of good memories, a lot of cries, a lot of laughs. And I didn't tell my friends about the relationship because I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want people to be like, girl, why are you with him, or things of that. I just wanted to be in the moment. And I felt also like when you talk about things, it's like once you bring it out in the world, like once you say it, it's just like just all hell starts to break off. Like, dang, this is why I wanted to keep it quiet, because I feel like as soon as I open my mouth about the situation, boom, 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 all this stuff happens. Have you ever had a situation like that where you're just like, boom, this just, dang, I just opened up and now all this craziness is happening? So pretty much, I just wanted to keep it private. I wanted to enjoy just our time, like, period. And, so we were dealing with each other for a very long time, and he was always supportive of my podcast. And he would always be like, did you write things down? Like, did you write topics? Oh, you haven't done anything? He would just be on my butt about what I needed to accomplish and what I wanted to accomplish. And I feel like he saw something in me that I could not see in myself. And I remember the day that he told me that he was in love with me. And I don't remember the day, the date, the time, all of that, but that doesn't even matter. And it was randomly, it was a random text. Like, it was a random text. And he's such a type of person. He's not an emotional person at all. He's just like one of those guys, like, if he says something, that means he really mean it, because those type of guys, they not in their feelings. They about, getting that cheddar, that cheese, popcorn, whatever. So, I remember getting the text and reading it and being like, because it was like in the middle of the night, like, hold on, wait. Did I just think what you just said? Hold on, now, wait. Did you just, you know what I mean? Like, being shocked. And, really just feeling overwhelmed and shocked, because it's sad to say, out of all the guys that I dated, even the guy that I lived with, he never told me that he was in love with me. He told me that he loved me, but he never said he was in love with me. And being in love and I love it and saying I love you is two different things. And so for somebody to say that they were in love with me was a shocker, was like, You know what I mean? It made me like, oh, because I've never had nobody say that to me. And it just made our relationship even stronger. Like, it just made us like this, like not like cannot be broken, right? And I remember just being in awe and just feeling like joyful and feeling like I found someone who genuinely loves me and does not care if I have makeup on, if I have eyelashes on. Like, I did not care how I looked, because to him I was everything. And he truly made me feel special in every conversation. Even arguments were good moments. And sometimes in life we are so stuck in the moment that we'll never think that it will be over, or we'll never think that those moments of talking all the time, or being around with that person is just gonna be completely finished. And we just had really good moments. And some people will just never understand like what it is to date somebody who is in a different lifestyle as you, but you accepted them and you didn't care. You wanted the best for them. You didn't want them to be in that lifestyle anymore, and so you wanted to push them. And what I would say is, it doesn't matter how smart you are, how beautiful you are, if you had $1,000, $1 million, whatever. You can't change a person. A person has to be willing to change for themselves and want to do better for themselves. And at a point in our relationship, I definitely feel like he wanted to do better for himself, and that's why he was making the changes, because he had something to look forward to, which was a future with me. But when you're fighting so many demons and you're fighting strong ones, sometimes it can take over, and it can change things. And I feel like we were just heading in such a good direction. Like, everything was going, like, he was slowing down on things. He was making progress with going to school and just working, like, and there'd be times like he would text me and be like, I'm tired, I don't feel like going to work. And I would be scared that he would just be like, bump all of this, bump school, bump like, this ain't for me, like, my life is what it is, and that's just that. And I always felt like I would, in a sense, I felt like I would lose him, and I did. And long story short, we towards the ending of our relationship, like, things were just going like sour. Like, things were just, I don't know, like, things were just going different. And I wasn't, we were just busy with our lives or whatever. I started my podcast and things of that nature, and he definitely is a big influence. Only reason why I started the podcast, although I wanted to do this a while, but when you have somebody that's pushing you and is like literally making sure that you have topics down and all that stuff like that, it makes you want to really reach it, like, oh shoot, I could really do this. And so I'll forever appreciate that from him. And so, long story short, towards the end of our relationship, it just I don't know, I guess you can, I guess you can start to tell when things are going left. I don't know. And he was the type of person that is not like to share his feelings or to express himself, or doesn't know how to express himself, things of that nature. So like I said, when you're dealing with your own demons, you can't be the best person that you want to be. And I remember one time I had sent him something. I said, you know, please make sure you look at this. And we got into a fight, like a huge fight, and we didn't talk. And then days went by, and I'm just like, this is not normal for us. Even like when he was mad at me, he'd be like, I'm mad at you, I just don't want to talk, but I'm thinking about you. He would let me know, but this was totally different. And it was days and days, and I'm just like nervous, freaking out, like what is going on? Like, and I remember having a dream, and the dream was not a good dream. Like, it was not a good dream. It scared the living crap out of me. And I remember telling my best friend about the dream, and like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I had this dream, and it would, like, some dreams are like, okay, but then there are some dreams where I feel like my dreams are prophetic dreams, where it's like dreams where they come true, or they're signs to warn you about things. And so I had this dream, and I had texted him when I woke up from the dream, and I said, hey, like, I don't know what's going on, but I hope that you're safe. I really had a bad dream. And I remember the next day, I remember that's the day we broke up. And it's so crazy. It was like God, like, warned me before it had already happened, or he warned me. It's just amazing how God works. But anyway, I remember having a conversation with him, the last conversation that we had. And I remember the words that were said. And I remember crying really, really bad, like crying because I knew it was over. Like, I knew that our relationship was done. And I remember him like breaking up with me and saying like, this is it, like, this is done. And it's crazy because I never knew, I just didn't think that we would just end like that. Like, we would just end like that. And I remember like feeling like, I remember like being in my room, cried, and thinking to myself, this is the last conversation that I'm ever gonna have with him. And I remember recording it because I knew that we wasn't gonna talk after this. And it's none of y'all business what happened, period, point blank, boop. But just know that something changed in his life where it was no longer good for us to be together anymore. And I appreciate him for letting me go, even though it hurt me. But if you truly love somebody, if you truly care for somebody, you won't hold on to them, because you know holding on to them will damage them. It would only damage them. And sometimes we have to let people go in order for them to be the best they can be. And I know that's what he did for me. And I remember crying every day and being upset and angry at God about, like, why would you bring somebody in my life that I didn't want in the beginning and fell for, and we fell for each other. And because we had such a good friendship, I think me and him both didn't realize how deep it would get. And I feel like if we knew how deep our relationship would have got, I feel like we would have never crossed that. Because we didn't want to end our relationship. And I was really upset. I would not eat. I was not brushing my hair. Like it felt like a death. Like it literally felt like a death. It felt like I lost a part of me. And I remember like being so angry, and I remember like screaming to the top of my lungs, like, why would you do this? Why would you do that? And just like looking at our pictures and videos and like just being so upset. Being so upset and realizing like this is it. There is no going towards a future with this person. This is like, I'm letting you go so that you can be better than this and this lifestyle and these demons that I'm dealing with. I have to let you go because it would be selfish of me to do so. And that's exactly what he did. And I think that's love, because some people can be so selfish and hold on because, you know, they love you. They're in love. They want you to be a part of their journey. But when you know that somebody has greater potential and has greater success and has a bright future, you don't want to bring them down. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to this story because you can't help who you love. You can't help who you fall in love with. And it can be hard to let go, especially when you've accepted them for whatever lifestyle that they live or whatever they do in their personal life, and you know that you made a difference in their life, right? It affects you because you have such a deep connection, like a very deep connection. And I just remember being really, really depressed and like crying, and people not really understanding because I kept it such a secret in our relationship. So it was like, why don't you just move on? Why can't you, girl, why would you da-da-da, all that stuff? But people didn't know the extent of our relationship because it was so private. And I think sometimes in life, the reason why I wanted to tell this story is because I think sometimes in life we meet people that we fall in love with or that we like, and sometimes we're so caught up in the moment that we don't realize that maybe that person is only in our life to help us in that season or to bring something out of us. And a lot of times people are like, do you think y'all will ever be together or come back together? And honestly, probably not. I've accepted what it is, and I am doing the best that I can every day. And the crazy thing is the reason why I wanted to bring this up, because I know I made a video about, I believe it was called How to Love, or Do You Know How to Love, or things like that. And in the video I was talking about a gentleman who was not my ex, who was somebody after my ex. And what I realized is like when you're in a deep relationship where your connection is so strong, I think sometimes we try to replace people in that moment to help us and to move on. And I think I had a lot of friends that saw how sad and depressed I was, so they put these people in my head like, you should try this person, you should meet this person, he's a really good dude, things like that, after we had broken up, because we broken up It's been a while now. And so a couple months went by, and people were like, you should try this guy. And I dated it. No, let me not say I dated. I talked to a guy, and it was just like, I knew off the back that he wasn't for me, but I'm like, let me just give him a try or whatever. And I remember having a conversation with him one day and telling him, like, yo, I'm still in love with my ex. Like, I can't do this. And him just being like, it's okay or whatever. So it was like, okay, well, since I already told you what it is, okay, cool. If you still want to associate with me, then that's your fault. I told you what it was. You know what I mean? And that didn't work out. And then I met somebody else who I actually brought up in my video, and I thought he was an amazing guy. I thought this could be the one, but like I said, like, when you're vulnerable, and you have to be careful, when you're vulnerable, you have to be careful what spirits are. When you are vulnerable, you have to be careful what spirits attract or connect to you when you're vulnerable, because those spirits can be evil spirits, or it could be a spirit that is trying to even take you off your path that you're trying to get back on. And I say that because when I had broke up with an ex before, and then I got in a relationship who also became my abuser, right? I was vulnerable because I didn't deal with a relationship that I had just broke up with. And so I realized that I was doing the same cycle as far as just dealing with a hard relationship who I was in love with and still in love with, and then trying to replace these people and get my mind off of the person. And I remember like being on the phone with these people and like looking at our pictures, me and my ex's pictures, and just being like, man, I miss him, or like, these guys are great, but they're not like him, or things like that. And so the reason why it's important to share this, because I feel like sometimes people are like, you should date somebody, or you should get your mind off somebody, and I feel like, honestly, I feel like that's the worst thing to do, because you're not dealing with the situation, you're not dealing with the hurt, you're not dealing with the pain face on. You're letting other things distract you, and what happens is the pain and the hurt that you're dealing with just keeps deep down in your system, and it's still there, and you feel like it's gone because you're not really thinking about it all the time. But when that situation doesn't work out with the next homeboy and the next homegirl, then you're left with what? You're left with the pain and hurt that you pushed down, and then you're left with something not working out. Why? Because you didn't deal with this over here. And I feel like that's what happened to me. And those two guys are not bad guys. They just weren't for me. And I'm glad that it didn't work out, because it made me realize that I need to continue to work on myself, and also that I'm still dealing with a breakup. I'm still grieving a breakup death. And I think a lot of times we desperately want to be loved so bad, and I desperately wanted to be loved so bad and wanted to feel that connection again so bad, that I was just like, okay, I'm gonna give this guy a try and talk to this guy, and it didn't work out. Okay, let me give this. And then it's just like, when is enough enough? Obviously, these relationships aren't working for a reason, honey. You got things to do. And I believe that people come into your life for a reason. And to not be upset and not question why this person left, or why God took this person, or why God allowed me to have this person and then took it. I feel like everything happens for a reason. And I feel like within your story of dealing with somebody or dealing with a breakup, you have to find purpose in the reason why it happened. And I'm forever grateful for him. I love him to the moon and back. But I've come to a realization that not everybody is supposed to be in your life for a long term. And I don't know what the future holds, but what I am saying is, I don't know what the future holds, but also saying is I'm not waiting for anybody as well. What I'm saying is I'm accepting where I am in life and accepting that in order to continuously be the best woman for me and my future, I have to look myself in the mirror and say, you're not done healing. You're not done crying. You're not done dealing with this pain. And you have to continue to focus on yourself. And I think a lot of times us women especially want love so bad that once we break up with somebody else, we automatically try to replace that. And that's the worst thing that you could ever do. You don't want to replace. You want to heal the broken wound and let it heal. And then when you're fully whole again, go back out and date. And it may take months, it may take years, but I feel as though, and sometimes I'm not saying don't date or whatever, but I would say don't just jump right into something so fast, because you could potentially still be in love or still dealing with your past, and you don't want to bring your past into something new. And I think it's important to deal with your hurt and pain and your breakup and call it what it is, call it out, and deal with it. And I feel like I've made a lot of progress thus far. And I just want to say, for the people that are dealing with someone who's in a different lifestyle or who is trying to change or things like that, I would say to be patient. I would say listen to your friends, but also listen to your heart. Listen to your mind as well. And thankfully, like I said, for me, sex wasn't a part, so I was still able to make clear decisions and still wrap my head around everything that went on. And I would say that I'm really surprised I didn't. Well, I did get a little emotional. But I would just say that, like, you can't fully move on until you have fully moved on from your past. Like, you can't fully be in a relationship, can't fully give somebody your all if somebody still has a piece of your heart. And you have to take it one day at a time and be patient with yourself. I don't know how long it's going to take to get over the person or whatever it is, but what I will say is it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to still have those feelings. It's okay to still feel the way you do. And try to be at peace with it. And it's so crazy because so many of my friends are like, well, if you found out if he was in a relationship, would you be upset? Like, don't you want to move on? And it's not that I don't want to move on or things like that, or that I'm waiting, because I'm not. But you gotta let yourself heal from a real strong connection. You have to let yourself heal. And what I always say is, I would be the utmost happiest person for him if I found out that he was engaged, or if he found somebody or whatever. I think that's real love, when you are happy because they're happy. And if their happiness means being with somebody else, if his happiness means being with someone else, then I am so team love. Like, I am so for it, and I'll be grateful, I'll be happy for him, and I know that he would be happy for me. And that's being mature and being adult. He's always with me. He's always in my heart. And he's always going to be one of my exes that has had a huge impact. And I think he has so far has had the biggest impact due to the fact of the connection that we had, the laughter of a real, just genuine friendship. And I don't judge people who make decisions that people may not understand or agree with. It's your life. And I feel like he came into my life to push me with this. He came into my life to show me what love really does feel like and what being in love feels like. He showed me that there are still respectful men out there. Even though he lived a different lifestyle as me, he was the complete opposite of the lifestyle that he was living, if that makes sense. And I pray and hope that he's doing well. I pray that he's safe. I pray that he is excelling. And I pray that God is changing his heart and he's able to really break away from the demons that are holding him back. And I also pray that he finds love. I pray that he finds an amazing person. I pray that he finds an amazing person. And I pray that he, if he hasn't already, feels an unbreakable bond with that special lady that he chooses to be with. And I would be beyond happy for him. A lot of times people make stupid decisions, and I don't want to say stupid. A lot of times people make decisions when they're emotional or whatever. And I don't really care what people say. I don't really care how people are going to judge me about this story or whatever. But it's my truth, and I'm not ready to love. And I think that's a powerful thing to be like, I'm not ready to love. I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I'm not ready to entertain somebody because I'm still working on myself and I'm still in love with somebody and I need time to get over that. And it's okay. It's truly okay to be like that. And I'm forever grateful for the memories and everything. And what I'm saying is, like, I'm sharing this story because I don't want people to feel like hopeless. Like, you know, when I made that video of like how to accept love and things like that, and that's another video that we'll talk about more in depth. But you know, when you want to move on so bad, like, you ever like just wanted to move on, but you just fully can't move on because you're still grieving, you're like still dealing with it, and you like make up in your mind that you're happy that this new person is everything and more, and you're just like go jolly because it fits all the criterias, right? Like, it was just so good. But then, like, you have to like come to realization is like, are you truly happy? Are you fully moved on? Can you delete all the pictures? Can you delete all the text messages? Can you like do certain things? And I've definitely done certain things as far as like deleting text messages and deleting some pictures and things like that. But it's a process. It definitely is a process, and it's okay. Like, everybody goes through a breakup. And I actually, once we broke up, I definitely, like, I think I used to be like, people who get people's names tatted is stupid and just dumb. And no, I did not get his name tatted, so don't think that. But I did get a tattoo that symbolized memories that we both shared. And I don't regret it. It's a beautiful tattoo. And sometimes people say, like, tattoos are healing, like they help you heal and things like that. And I got the tattoo because whether we meet again in our futures, or whether I get married, he gets married, whether we, you know, I have children or he has other kids or things like that, it's a reminder that I had somebody special that really helped me become a stronger individual and be confident to start a podcast and to tell my story. And it's just it's a symbol of reminding myself that this person had a huge impact on my life, and it was nothing but positivity all the way around. It was nothing but, and he has no idea, unless he's gonna watch this episode, he has no idea that I have a tattoo that symbolizes our bond. Just due to the fact that it was something that I wanted to do for myself. It wasn't something that I wanted to send to him and be like, oh, look, you know what I mean? Let's try to work it out, or none of that. It was just something that I wanted to do. And I don't regret. Sometimes it makes me smile. Sometimes it makes me sad. But that's how I'm dealing with it. And I'm proud of myself that I was able to talk about this. I'm proud that I'm not alone, because I know there's a lot of women that go through relationships, or a lot of men that go through relationships where their partner's lifestyle is totally different than their lifestyle, and you still continue to rock with them regardless, because you don't care about the lifestyle that they live. You care about their heart and their spirit. And that's what is always going to be with me. How sweet of a person, kind-hearted, lovable, positive person he was in my life. And I appreciate everything he's ever done. And all the kind words and all the wisdom and all the talks and all the things that he said to me, to his mother and to his father and all the crazy things. I appreciate him. And just know that I'm going to the top. I'm going to do everything that I told you I was going to do. And I know that you're proud of me. And I know that you want the best for me. And I'm okay with where things are. And I'm gonna be okay, because I've been through worse. So, remember that some people are in our life for a season to help us reach the next goal. And sometimes people can come in our life to show us things, to teach us things, or maybe to teach us things that we don't want, or maybe realizing that, you know, you needed that person for that moment in time. So this is where I'm at. This is the story. This was a long story, but I'm grateful and I appreciate it. And take good care of yourself. Love on yourself. Love your process. Love your transitional season. Accept the grieving part, accept the pain, accept the hurt, because eventually you're not going to be like this forever. And I know that I'm not going to be like this forever. I know that eventually there's somebody out there that's going to be an amazing partner. But for right now, I am accepting being okay with being single and loving my success this far. Stay strong, stay prayed up. Remember, you're not alone. Remember that we all go through crazy situations. We've all been through situations where we didn't think that we would be in them. Until next time, which is shortly, I really appreciate you guys. I hope this story helps you, and I will see you next week.